Okay.
But Tracy, you're a full member since you make quorum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's bring this meeting to order. And you have the agenda. Got it up. Thank you, man. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's do the roll call, and maybe Tracy, we just start with you and we'll work our way around this way.
Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
Logan Dunning, present.
Michael Chisholm, present.
Merlin Glenn, president.
Joe Anderson, present. Matt Fitzgerald, present.
Okay, thank you,
Who we got
everybody.
online?
And we've got Matthew. Thank you, sir.
Matthew Schultz present.
Shelley Oren present.
Stephen Strawbridge present.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody taking the time, particularly those who trudged through the cold weather out there to get in here tonight. Let's see. I'm squinting here.
November minutes, November 14th minutes.
November 14th. Oh, we need to approve the minutes for November. Any questions, corrections, concerns, qualifications on those minutes? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion?
Seconded.
Is that Matthew? Did you second it? Or
Seconded.
Patrick? Okay, we've got a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Nay? Okay, approved. Upcoming tasks and events. Tree protection ordinance. We had a work session last night with City Council. And can I start the conversation? And
Yeah, it's on you.
Everybody can chime in. I thought it was a good meeting. I really felt that council listened to us and asked a lot of thoughtful questions, the kinds of questions that I just made a quick note. And these are all questions that we had wondered about ourselves. If we're talking about trees on development property, does the size of the property matter? Is there a coding issue? In other words, which properties would be affected by the ordinance? And I wasn't much help in answering that. Evan did a good job giving examples of how that could be determined. And I explained, we purposefully did not get granular. We purposely said, let's be directional. We're not writing code. We're not writing laws. Now, interestingly, the questions were very specific. So I guess that's good because it begs the question, and they were paying attention. And but I mean, what's a residential property? What's a development property? Evan, hey Tiana, Evan certainly could answer those questions, but we didn't have answers for them. There was a question about space limitations on new lot development. What if there's no room for a tree on that lot with a duplex? Interesting question. Questions came up about code enforcement. Code enforcement had talked or struggled with this a couple years ago. I don't know that any changes had come from it, but certainly interesting question. Should code enforcement be involved in the conversation? One council member was questioning, why is this coming from sustainability? And
Why is this coming from sustainability?
yeah.
Oh.
And I didn't, my thoughtful answer was, you asked us. You know, you asked our opinion, so we gave it to you. That's why, but it was all good. And are we talking about new codes in terms of the city? Are we modifying codes? I don't know. We might be. Are there targeted areas for reforestation or forestation in Englewood? Probably. My takeaway, and the mayor brought it to conclusion, and Joe and Mel, correct me if I'm wrong, the takeaway I got was we probably need some more homework. We probably need to look at it some more. My takeaway was, thank you. And then after the meeting, I said to Mel, you got your work cut out for you.
Evan does.
You know, so you can respond, and Joe, you can respond. So they were very interested and supportive in spirit, but they had lots of questions
Sure.
that we did not have answers for.
Well, as they should. Okay.
As they should. So, anything you guys want to correct or add to what I just said?
I think Mike did a great job for the detailed questions that were asked. He did a great job of explaining that it wasn't supposed to be kind of that deep dive, and that is supposed to be left for kind of the Evan Andersons of the world. So yeah, I thought you did a really, really great job of representing the memo from the commission and answering questions.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good presentation.
Thank you.
And that, I mean, from the council side, I think the tone of those questions was more about, what's this gonna look like? And also, for Evan and for city attorney who works on the ordinance, giving them an idea of some things that council will be looking at if it comes back as an ordinance, the kinds of things that they'll want built, that we will want built into it, that kind of thing, so.
Joe, do you think the council would appreciate some type of a draft? Because a lot of the questions just were appropriate questions, but no one had put a pencil, say, for example, we could do it this way. In my mind, and again, I don't know the machinations of staff, council, how the sausage gets made. But my thought was, if at some point a draft for discussion purposes only, it might move the decision-making process, because it's easier to debate something if it's in writing and you say, like, for example, the formula for the girth of a tree, you replace, well, somebody has to put something in there and then somebody can agree or disagree with it. So would that be a reasonable expectation?
Yeah, that's what the next step is.
Okay.
The draft will get written up, and then it'll come back for, I imagine, another study session. I don't think it will be, I think they'll want a little more feedback before it goes to a vote. So I think sometime next year we'll have a study session that has a draft that addresses the concerns.
Well, from the Sustainability Commission's point of view, can we sort of lean on Mel and say, Mel, it's your ball, run with it, or you? I
think it's out of the Sustainability Commission's hand now.
Yeah, I think
on to city attorney and Evan.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
right.
okay.
It's Evan's.
So it's got to go down the road.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
You guys did
happy
your job.
with it.
It was great.
I think there was movement, so.
I think when and if this study session is scheduled to take this back up, that one of us be there to represent the commission. It sounds like that's appropriate, right? Okay, good.
So thank you.
Thank you for being there, Mike.
Well, I was in a good meeting. It was enjoyable. It was educational for everybody. And I felt there was an open spirit of curiosity or consideration. There wasn't any friction or conflict over this is a good idea or a bad idea. So,
Well, that's good to hear.
all right.
We got a new fresh council. That's good to hear. It was well received and
Well, if
curious.
there's anything we can do, let us know and
Mhm.
we'll do what we can do. Mel, I think you're the next reporting person on year-end review and what we've accomplished, et cetera.
So the next is the year-end review, which hopefully you all received that report, the draft report. We did the same thing in 2022. And for our new folks, essentially each year, we go to City Council to give them an update on both the Sustainability Program and Sustainability Commission as a whole. So I put the 2022 report in there for you to reference. Communications will make the 2023 one look snazzy. I just didn't want to give it to them before the edits were made. So I'll pull that up, but I didn't know off the bat if anyone had anything they wanted to flag or wanted to comment on. We'll pull it up right now. Matthew.
Mel, I'm not sure if it's a typo or if the program is really this way, but I think there was a a misspelling for Ingle Ride on one of the slides. I think it said ENGEL Ride.
Is it on the report?
No, it was on a PowerPoint version that was attached to the email. It was like on a slide.
Okay.
Oh, actually, sorry. I may have seen that in our this meeting's agenda. Never mind. It's on one of tonight's meeting slides, not the actual year-end thing. Sorry.
All good. Go to the Sustainability Commission side too. So I tried to sum up for the Sustainability Commission kind of the high level accomplishments, which there were a lot this year. You all were really busy, but I want to make sure you all feel like this reflects adequately of the work you've done. If there's anything I'm missing or anything you want removed, I'm happy to do that.
I thought this list looked good, Mel.
Can I ask a simple-minded question?
Yeah.
Where does this go? What, I mean, does it go in a file somewhere? Does it get sent to city council?
Yeah,
Is
so
it
it
just
gets
for our
sent, do you remember last year you and I went to city
Right.
council and reported, so it would be the same as this time again. You're
Okay.
gonna really get your presentation skills
Thanks for
squared away.
reminding me. Okay.
So it'll be the same thing to council, we'll submit this to them, and then we'll do a presentation to them where we can celebrate our accomplishments, answer any questions they have. So I'm hoping once this is finalized for like January, latest February, hopefully, that it would go in front of city council.
And I would like to add that I'm certainly willing to represent the commission, but if there's folks who are on the commission who would like to do that instead of me, they're welcome to do that. I mean, I think it's an opportunity for all of you to learn a little bit more how the process works.
Absolutely.
And I also think it's a more robust representation from the commission if different people step up. No pressure to do that, but don't be shy. If you say, hey, I think I want to do that, I think that would be great. So anybody on the commission is welcome to do it. And I suppose you could even have one or two commission members.
Yeah.
So think about that. I think it would be healthy for different people because my impressions are not going to be identical to everybody else's. So when council says, what were you thinking? Or why did you do that? It's okay. You know, you give your impressions. And I think we're all pretty closely on the same page around here. So New Year's resolution, think about that. I challenge you to speak on behalf of the commission. Very good. I like it. Any other thoughts or comments on the year-end report? Other than good job, Mel.
Good job, you all.
Yeah,
good job, all of us.
I loved writing the
Well,
report. I
so
thought it was really awesome seeing all
I'm
the
really-
work done.
It's fun to recap the year. We were busy. These 5 bullets, I mean, it's a lot. We summed it up into 5 bullets, but there was a lot of time and effort put into those.
Yeah.
So
Well-
I just want to commend everybody.
In the time I've been on the commission, I'm really pleased with the fact that we've evolved from KEB, Keep Englewood Beautiful, which was good in its time, but we do more than pick up litter. And so there's that evolution of we have opinions and insights that we're sharing. So that feels good.
Great. Well, I will submit that to our communications team to make look all beautiful. And once they have that done, I'll send it out to you folks. And I know this is in the report, but I just wanted to highlight what the sustainability program is hoping to do in 2024. So in January, we're going to launch our Angle Ride program that stands for Reducing Individual Driving Emissions. It's a financial incentive green commute program. And we're partnering with Dr. Cog on it, and they said they're pretty sure we're the first one, at least in the Front Range, to have a program like this, which is really exciting. So it's a pilot program. If it does well, we're gonna pitch to City Council to have it keep going. We're gonna have a.
Mel?
Yeah.
Did the city, okay, Eagle Ride as a pilot?
Yeah, so
Yes.
City Council approved funds for this year. They approved $6,000, knowing that $3,000 of it will be covered actually by the alternative transportation tax options.
Yeah, that's good.
So yeah, even though it's a $6,000 cost, the city's only paying $3,000. But yeah, just a pilot.
Love it.
We're gonna have our sustainability grant launch this year. We have a city manager fellow, and she's taking on 2 sustainability projects for me, which I greatly appreciate just due to capacity. And so if you all are familiar with Madeline's Neighborhood Resource Grant Program, it likely will be somewhat similar to this, although the city manager fellow, I'm giving her complete creative liberties of kind of scoping what this looks like. The biggest thing I told her is that we really want to try in some ways get funding in our most climate vulnerable census blocks. And we're taking this data from the EnviroScreen tool, which the state produced, which I can send that out to. It's a very cool interactive tool to see what areas are most vulnerable. So that is going to be slated for 2024. And then also the city manager fellow is going to be scoping a lead removal assistance program. This is something listed in the sustainability plan. It's really reassuring because HUD usually does a lot of the funding for this. And I was at a all-day workshop, I think probably just a month ago, and someone from HUD was talking about this program, how there's a lot of money on the table that typically doesn't get tapped. So that money can go straight to Englewood. We would love that. So that's what the city manager fellow is going to look at. Continuing in the initiatives of the lawn replacement rebates, we have a utility bill insert going out in January about the program. We're hoping to reach Soul Smart Silver. We reached bronze, so we're chugging away at that. And then continuing with the Earth Day celebration, we're in works of kind of figuring out what that will look like for 2024. Bless you. Yeah, Christine, go for it.
What does Soul Smart Silver require compared to bronze? What do we need to do to get the next level? And do you know if getting the solar app permitting program is part of that?
Yeah, so the solar app permitting, that's for platinum. We just had a conversation with someone from the state about that last week. For silver, off the top of my head, this could be wrong, so don't quote me on it. I think it's like trainings and then just getting additional points in some of their categories like planning and zoning and community engagement. But I can look into that and also do a follow-up email about what that would take too. All right, and then for grants, what we're looking at for 2024, with the adoption of the EV Action Plan in 2023, we have some goals such as having 5 public EV chargers by the end of 2024 and transitioning 20% of our light duty fleet to electric by 2030. So getting the Fleet Zero grant, which is for private fleet charging, and the charger would be for public fleet, for public charging. So those are 2 big ones that cover 80 to 90% of the costs associated.
Mel, how many public charging stations do we have right now?
None. Well, from the city, none. So it would be 5 locations from the city and then additional private fleet charging, which would be at our service center. Christine.
I recently heard that the state of Colorado has new regional grant navigators, which are people paid by the state to specifically connect cities to federal funding and handhold them through applying and even sometimes help write the application. So it could be worth connecting Englewood to our regional grant navigator to see if there's any other federal grants that we're missing out on just because we don't know about them, or just because we might need some extra help in understanding what's required for the grant or filling out the application.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be great. I'll look into that after this. I can also ask, I'm working with Jenna from Drive Clean Colorado, and there are grant navigator kind of for that would look over applications. So I'll ping her on that too and ask her for the contact for the regional one. Right. And then the other one is that HUD-led grant, which the city manager is looking into. And then finally, for some anticipated milestones for 2024, there's more than this video. Here's kind of the high levels. We're going to complete our energy audit. Christine, do you mind going on mute or just getting feedback from your computer? Thank you. So we're going to complete the energy audit that we're currently in progress with, and with the completion of the energy audit is also a water audit of every single city building. South Platte Renew is not part of this, just because they're a partner, an enterprise fund through Littleton and Englewood, but every other Englewood building will be a part of this. And kind of in tangent with that, we're scoping and implementing $200,000 worth of ARPA funds. This was slated, I think, over 2 years ago. When the city got ARPA funds, they put $200,000 aside for some kind of energy efficient, renewable energy project. And we're waiting for the final results from this energy audit to see what actually is the best option going forward. So that's going to be really exciting. We also are slating the community resiliency event in 2024. I brought this up before at a high level though. So the city is currently doing work to create this very high level resiliency framework. By doing this, we opened ourselves up to being eligible for $5 billion in funding from DOLA. And the last part of that, we already did the internal work. The last part is the external work of really doing some kind of community workshop with folks to figure out or to hear from them about how we can incorporate their thoughts and needs into this framework as well. We're going to launch our waste characterization study, which we got approved for in 2023. Another one is that we have a turf GIS. In the sustainability plan, there's a project to create a turf GIS map and set a target for turf transition for public properties. For public government properties. So we're going to wrap that up in 2024. That will be brought to the Sustainability Commission to get a presentation on and to put input on. And then the final one, we are wrapping up the low-income energy efficiency outreach strategy. You all gave the best feedback. We're chiseling away at that and getting some additional feedback, but I'm hoping that that will be in front of City Council by mid-2024. And a whole lot more, but that is just what to expect.
That's enough, that's enough.
But that's just what to expect in 2024.
Mel, thanks. I'd like to flag or put into this space expanding the target of the turf GIS map. It's great to start with government public acreage, I guess. How much of that is in the city?
Oh, I wouldn't know that off the top, because the map isn't done yet, but I could flag that for our GIS team, step one could be public property.
How much, and feel free to kick back with this just an exorbitant amount of money, but how much is it to just map the city?
So they're using current GIS layer, and I'm by no means a GIS guru.
Yeah.
I know they're currently using already available GIS layers. Maybe it's something really easy, maybe it's something it isn't, but
Sure.
that could be a follow-up question I have to them.
It just seems really narrow. That's my only comment.
Can you elaborate your thinking on that a little bit?
I'd like to know how much turf can be replaced across the city, not specific to public government.
Okay. Like residential neighborhoods?
Oh, yeah.
Park, okay, no?
Yeah. Matthew?
Yeah, does that include, that would include school properties as well, like sport fields and things like that, and parks? Is that mainly what we mean when we say public, is parks and schools, or?
So it would be parks, it wouldn't be schools, because that would be two separate.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah, it was probably this time last year, we were talking about tree coverage GIS map.
The tree equity score map of Englewood?
Yes, where is that at?
So that is a website which I can send that out to. It's through the nonprofit American Forests. And they did this like high level GIS mapping of tree canopy. I do know, Evan was just talking last night about a tree canopy assessment that they just completed in 2022. That might actually be better data.
I think
So
so.
let me also follow up with Evan.
That's more of what I'm asking, is what you just.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else? Any other questions or comments? Matthew?
Yeah, just one last thing. So the Earth Day celebration, so the city's no longer doing recognition of or proclamations this year. So is there anything different? Does that change anything with what we do or how we can bring awareness to this event? Because I'd hate for it to fall off the radar with the city not recognizing it anymore.
Process was, I don't know, Joe, if you can, it just, I think having an event would still be totally fine. It's just not the recognition at City Council of Earth Day, but I think an event would still be totally fine unless I'm wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Christine, I see your hand up.
I'm wondering if 2024 could include an update to the walk and wheel plan, a more comprehensive update than we had last time. I know that might be Inglewood Transportation Advisory Commission, but we do have the clean and connected transportation goal and sustainability. So I wondered if that could be a possibility, something we could raise with the city.
Do you mean having an update from like John, like a presentation on the plan? Yeah, I can definitely ask him.
No, I actually mean Inglewood itself conducting an update to the walk and wheel plan of what intersections and or bike infrastructure is needed where, and prioritizing those, so we can get a refresher on that. The last time they updated it, it was only meant to be quick wins, so it was just little short projects, and even most of those didn't get done. But I think we have a ton of federal money available since then that maybe we could make our money go a lot further for bike infrastructure.
Yeah, that would be community development realm, not mine, but I can pitch that to John. And then I'll also say, at least for me, I always think of my like marching orders for the current and future years of staying into the parameter of the strategic plan. But yes, I can absolutely send that over to John.
In that case, maybe our council rep could take note and see if he could get it into the strategic plan.
I bring up the walk and wheel plan as strategic planning meeting every year, so always trying to push that forward. Yep.
Thank you. Keep it up.
Yes.
I don't know where this fits, but when I look at your GIS target setting for turf replacement, there are some small orphan lots in Englewood, and I know this from talking to past Englewood employees. One is over on Floyd and Bannock, and we complained to the city that it was being neglected and there was litter. The city was great. They came forward, they cleaned it up. It was just a tiny little sliver of property right next to a parking lot. I hear tell there are other such places in Englewood, and I only wonder, is there an opportunity there to do something that maybe could lower the water usage and the maintenance for those, but at the same time, clean them up a little bit. Could somebody look into that? That's all I'm saying is if Bob Stevenson used to be the chair of this committee, he was telling me about it. But if those little slivers of property exist, maybe somebody should do something with them, in a sustainable manner. I don't know whether low water plants or plant a tree or put wood mulch on them or something. But food for thought, it just sort of raise awareness to that issue. And I'm suspecting somebody in the city would know where those properties are, and they're tiny, but they're just there. So somebody could do something with them.
That was the winner of the Neighborhood Resources Grant, right? Oh, that was Cherokee, right?
Oh, that's a different lot. It's about a
Oh,
block
right.
away. That's an
Got it.
asphalt lot that I would love to tear up the asphalt, put wood chips in. But a block away is this other little sliver. And I just wonder, how many of those exist in Englewood, and is there an opportunity there to do something with it?
Well, and that's something, you know, that Cara and I had met with that woman at the table. Public House, thank you. And that's exactly what they do in the city of Denver, is they ask, you know, properties that are neglected.
Right,
Like, hey,
right.
can we use this to grow, you know, grow food? And
Yeah,
I mean, what
yeah.
a better way to use that property than let it just sit there being neglected.
Yeah, and I could see neighborhoods adopting them
Yeah.
if somebody put them to use. I mean, I've gone over there with a rake, because it's small, but it drives me crazy because it just fills up with litter and weeds.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, and then it's identified because it has a metal fence that has the Englewood logo on it. So it clearly.
City property?
Yeah. But I think it's just a neglected, tiny little piece of property.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody ought to do something with those.
Yeah, but that would be.
Community development too.
And I wouldn't even say it's turf, I would say it's weeds. So,
Well, hell, maybe we can go over there and just.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you, just raise awareness to it, maybe somebody will have a better idea or do something with it.
Make it pretty.
Yeah, make it green, make it green.
Real biochar experiment.
Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Always here to listen.
Okay.
Any other thoughts before we move on? Oh, Christine, yes.
Yeah, I have one other thing. Under anticipated milestones, completing the energy audit and water audit. Do you know if that included Inglewood's affordable housing properties? And I'm kind of guessing it didn't, in which case I wonder if that could be a goal the city could pursue for 2024, is an energy audit and water audit for our several big affordable housing properties.
Yeah, so it didn't do affordable housing. It was only our government buildings, so like Civic Center, Charles Allen. Yeah. But yeah, you said one idea was an energy audit for the affordable housing units.
Yeah, our several large ones.
That would need to go through the housing authority?
Yeah, and I think I talked with, is it Lindsay?
Uh-huh.
I think I talked with Lindsay before, and they're under certain energy standards, so they're actually higher than what even I assumed from a while back. But she said they were doing like solar or something. I'll have to go back in my notes, but I know they do have standards for the affordable housing for energy efficiency. Maybe this could even be,
Standards for new construction or standards for improving those older buildings? Do you know?
I'm not sure. What I can do is I can reach out to her and ask her if there's any data that she'd be open to sharing that I can share with the commission. I guess I will add that to my list. Anything else?
Okay,
Cool.
shall we move on?
We shall.
Any topics of interest? We've thrown a few ideas around here already. The floor is open.
We have more partnership with the neighborhood leadership group, because I feel like that could be a great way to expand our efforts. Because each of those leaders can take that back to their neighborhoods and and just spreading the word about what's available to homeowners. Also partnering with schools, getting into the schools more.
I think that's brilliant. I would love to get it to schools a little bit more.
Would our newsletter be an effective piece of that? Certainly
Getting into the schools?
yeah, well, I mean, just spreading the word, or, I thought the newsletter did a good job of summarizing things that are happening, or would there need to be a different tool?
I'm thinking more along the lines of like a youth project.
Oh, okay,
Initiative or something, either that we spearhead or assist
Mm-hmm.
with, you know, if the city wants to put together a program or something. I really like that idea.
Because the city of Lakewood did that, because I ran a eco club at the high school that I was working at, and they did grants. And so we could apply for grants, and they'd come in and help kind of oversee what we're trying to do, and they funded it. And it was just a great way to get involved and get the word out to kids.
Was that through their Sustainable Neighborhood Networks grant? I thought Lakewood was one of them. Yeah, I've heard of those. These are awesome.
There's a point person for that program, I presume?
Yeah, so cities can join on. There's a caveat there of an initial cost to be part of the program. So by Englewood launching this sustainability grant, it's kind of avoiding those costs and just giving more money directly into the community. But I will say the sustainability grant is also a pilot. City Council doesn't have to fund it for the following year. So if that's something to look into maybe for 2025, if the results really aren't there for 2024, that could be something. Matthew, I see your hand up.
Yeah, something that I was thinking about is just how can we get more in front of other city departments? So there's been a lot of discussion about different things that are not necessarily related to sustainability, where there could be overlap. A good example is lots of folks upset about traffic on some of the wider streets in the neighborhood and how there are different traffic calming methods, including moving the sidewalks out. And we've heard from in the past that we don't have many sidewalks that have trees, enough room for trees in them. So that's an example of where, like, again, I don't know if we're going to do traffic calming on any of those, but how can we have a voice for that? Another is the city ditch project. So they're enclosing the city ditch. How can we make that a usable space? People already walk on it with their animals, and it's sort of wilderness right now, but is there a way to make that into a more sustainable actual trail with wildflowers or things like that? And the third example is the big 20 million plus retention pond that's being built. In the renderings of it, there's green on it, like it's going to be a park when it's not acting as a flood area. And so is that a place where we can work with that department to try out turf instead of grass? Or are there ways we can increase the number of trees that the city is planning to put down there to beautify it and make it into a park? So those are all like three different decision points where it feels like the city doesn't always have a sustainability lens or a voice on other regular decisions that could easily be made and we could have influence on.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I can definitely try. I'm assuming a lot of those would be community development. So I can pitch all them to them and see which ones actually are with them, and maybe like presentation set up in 2024.
Awesome, thank you.
I think Matthew's spot on, and I think that as these advisory committees become more effective, there will be overlap, and I wonder if the city shouldn't think through. We're not competing with other advisory committees. In many cases, we're agreeing with them, and I think, for example, the tree ordinance is a perfect example. What's the method? I think there needs to be a new methodology for collaborating and sharing and cooperating. If you have all these different citizen advisory groups, they should be tuned into each other at a minimum. And Matthew's point of city departments like community development, discussion about the tree ordinance, community development has a dog in that fight, or they should. I don't know how you bring all those forces together, but we ought to try. And like I said, I suspect there's a lot of overlap and a lot of agreement that would be helpful to city council. And it does get into the different departments. What are their thoughts? What is their expertise telling them? So it's a tall order, but I think he's hit the nail on the head. There's example after example where these things are going to come up. I don't know what the answer is, but I know what the question is.
You and me both.
Yeah, it's an interest, and I think we can set a goal. Because we're already working toward this a little bit with various projects, but I'd like to see this commission partner with 3 external organizations. 3 is arbitrary. But we're already looking at work with Public Table House. Yep. Denver Audubon, right, with the iNaturalist project. And then I'd like to work with Cafe 180 if they do another sustainability program over the summer, right? I just see opportunities, and to Tracy's point of, partnership and collaboration with schools. I just would love to see us, we've talked about it for a year. I'd like to set that as a goal to execute. Just more public engagement. Christine here thumping again. Yeah, partnerships and engagement externally.
Do you want me to put that for partner with 3 organizations? Do you want to keep that number? Or just, do you want to have a broad partner with organizations?
Right. Say that again.
Or do you want to just keep it broad of partner with organizations? External organizations?
I think we should put a metric to it.
Say 4, do one more than we already have. Oh, I guess 180 is not.
180 is not locked in,
Yeah.
but we can get it with the school.
Start with the high school, maybe.
Yeah.
On the organization front too, is there maybe the possibility of working? I know some of the events I think have been co-sponsored between Sheridan and Littleton, things like leaf collection and things like that. But I don't know if there's maybe one of the organizations or events we want to do is more about the region and figure out what sustainability commissions they have and what they're working on, and if there's something common that we could do where maybe we have more people involved.
I'll say
Or
Littleton.
even just learning. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Matthew, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll say Littleton just launched their, it's not a sustainability commission. I want to say it's like a natural resources commission. And then Sheridan, that's in our sustainability plan to start one, but it hasn't started yet.
Well, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That's good news, Mel. But yeah, I just want to put that into the, I don't know if we stick with 3, we can go to 5. I mean, I'm open to suggestions, but I do want to put that as an interest or as a goal. It's just more external partnership.
It could be as simple as at every meeting, we raise the question, any ideas, any possibilities?
Sure.
Because you're saying the radar is tuned in, we're open to it,
Mhm.
but does anybody know of any opportunities? Or, yeah, I talked to somebody last week, at least we could keep it on our radar.
Well, we know of 3 tonight, but then if we get in with the neighborhoods, that's going to bring more opportunity, right? If you get in with schools, there's more opportunity there. So yeah. I mean,
And I'd almost say, let's pick one, rather than, if we could do one of those next year. And the only reason I say that is to focus, so that we're not, it's just a thought, but to make something happen, sometimes you have to concentrate, work with a school or an organization and then say, let's make a goal. But I don't know how you move it from concept to pilot program. I guess.
We already are on a few fronts, especially the work that Cara's doing with, Tracy's doing with the Audubon Society. Was that you?
Yeah,
Were you working with Cara on that? Just Cara?
That's Cara, yeah.
Oh, no, she said she wasn't able to make it tonight, so, but,
So that would be number one. If you said first time we've done something like that.
who runs Cafe 180? She won Citizen of the Year, didn't she?
No, it's Tracy is the one who runs that.
I'd like to get in contact with her. Yeah, let's do 3. I would suggest.
Yeah.
We have 3 in the works. Let's see them come to fruition. If not,
Okay.
It sounds like some more opportunities should come up organically throughout the next year.
Yeah, and Table Public House, I was just there this past weekend for that swap.
Yeah.
The
It was
native seed
fabulous.
swap.
It was so cool. Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got a bunch of seeds.
Oh,
I love it.
it was, I mean, it could be bigger, for sure.
Wait, are you talking about the native seed swap?
Oh,
Or what are you talking about?
that one, are you talking about the one that was?
It was a couple weeks ago. not
Yeah,
last week.
my husband went to that and he said it was huge.
It was huge. I was like, it could be bigger. Oh my
Like he
God.
went, no, this was the gift swap.
Oh,
So they held one this past weekend where you found 3 items at your home that you just didn't want,
Nice.
but were in good condition. And then
That's cool.
you set them up on your table and then you could go shopping
sweet.
for free. And I found a lot of good stuff. So I'm like, this could be so much bigger. And she said she really didn't market very much. I talked to the owner and so I said we would love to kind of help their
Yeah.
mission. And their farmettes, you did the farmette this past year.
Yeah, it sounds like next year they're not gonna be doing that as much and they're just focusing on like the 4 biggest properties and like putting their time really into there instead of
Yeah.
having a bunch of small ones.
They're gonna have farmettes, they're gonna have 15, I think is what they're gonna limit, but they're not gonna actually go to the land. They're gonna let the homeowners actually just keep up with growing the food, so.
I want to have another discussion about the Farmet program at some point, maybe January or something. So I'd love, so
Yeah.
I don't know if the commission
'Cause-
could sponsor a Farmet or somehow
Oh, that'd
get
be
involved
cool.
there.
Yeah.
On one of those little,
Exactly, to Mike's earlier point, of one of
Yeah,
those
finding
lots,
a-
can we have a table public house?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Farmet there.
like
Be a great,
take turns.
Yeah,
doing a check
attending.
on it.
yeah.
I would be
Good.
thrilled to do that.
Well, the applications will be coming out soon.
Okay, noted. Well, bring that up whenever you hear about it.
Okay.
Could we either every month or every other month or once a quarter, just put on the agenda an update? In other words, keep the awareness amongst us high.
Yeah.
And so there's a tendency then to move it along. So if we just said, what the heck's going on? We had these projects, is everything moving? Are they stalled? You know, that way it keeps us tuned into.
We could have a standing community
Yeah.
projects update at the end of the agenda.
That's what I wanted to say.
Great. Mel's on.
Standing community.
Do you see that as different from the communications update? Would it be like communications?
I see it as different,
Yeah,
yeah.
separate.
Mike, do you wanna continue this, what do you want us, do you wanna see anything on biochar in 2024? Put any thought into that?
More is better. I
I
don't,
had a fantastic pilot
I think
program
the
that
pilot
y'all-
project
that y'all
subjectively,
executed this year. I mean, that was exciting.
There's gonna be a need for a flower garden in front of the rec center next year. And I kind of backed into it this year, had fun doing it. They cleaned out the left side of the entrance, so it's all rough dirt. So I'm gonna guess there needs to be new planting. We could put biochar on the other side.
Just go in the middle of the night and do it. Don't tell anybody. Just
Yeah,
do it.
but I mean, I love biochar, but I don't know what the next project would be, other than maybe an educational program or something, if somebody wanted to learn more. And again, we could do something with the new garden over there, putting biochar in and telling what we thought we learned from their first go around. But I think generally,
So maybe biochar is under an interest
yeah,
that could turn into a goal of some sort for
could be
2024.
an education demonstration. You know, if we said, this is garden A.
Or getting biochar 101 into
We're
the
biochar
into the magazine or
101.
something.
I did get quite a few questions from people that were valid.
Did we get any after photos of like how it went? Like left side, right side? Like what was the outcome? Did it do better on the biochar side?
Yeah.
I know that the Parks Department said it was visibly doing better.
Yeah.
I
cool.
wonder if they got after photos, and
That's
that
exciting.
probably should have been on me, so that is
That's
my
exciting.
fault, but
Yeah,
I will
I mean,
look
it did look
with Parks.
There's probably some pictures floating around out there. I don't know, but I don't think we'd be exaggerating to say that we saw a difference between the biochar side and the other. And there's no harm in saying, hey, now we're gonna put biochar on the other side.
Sure.
Because we don't have to put it on the first side. Once you put the biochar in, you don't have to, it's not like fertilizer. You don't have to do it every year. So
Maybe
that's
we shouldn't,
interesting.
maybe we shouldn't put it on the other side.
I would
and
just
keep
leave
seeing
it. Yeah,
how-
have a control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christine, you raise your hand.
Yeah, I have kind of a general question on this topic. If the city takes its direction for what to do for sustainability from the strategic plan, how do we get new sustainability initiatives into the strategic plan?
So city council has a retreat at the end of January where that's where like updates and everything happens. In January, we were gonna look at kind of this high level of like, how do we feel about the goals with, and Jill, please tell me if this is wrong, with the strategic plan going until 2025, I personally would advise if you put a lot of projects in there, there's just no way we can complete it. Reminder, only 4 days a week for Englewood, which is why the city manager fellow helping me with some projects is huge. But yeah, that a memo or something to them, just kind of the general things, or maybe even looking at pitching things that everyone wants to see beyond 2025. But yeah, it would just be, it's very hard to finish more projects.
Okay, that makes sense. Does the strategic plan go until 2025 or does it go through 2025?
Through, I think it's through. So it's up until the end of 2025, but I could be wrong. Let me double, triple check on that with Tim.
Okay, if it went to 2025, then a 2024 goal for the commission would be to go through the sustainability plan and recommend some updates that the city council could consider putting into the strategic plan. But if that's not appropriate for 2 more years, then maybe we could take it off our radar.
That's a good idea, Christine. Thanks for flagging that. Thinking ahead.
Thank you, Christine.
I gotta actually slip out here in a minute, but from our subcommittee, Patrick, Tracy, not to put you on the spot, any thoughts, interests, goals from a communication standpoint? I mean, a goal, I guess a goal from last year was to get our slot in the magazine, right? Check. Maybe we can start thinking about next steps. We have a communications sort of editorial calendar that we'll continue to talk about throughout the year. But just kind of be thinking if we want to beef that up somehow, or who we want it to reach.
How often are we meeting?
Quarterly.
Quarterly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, just wanted to put that in perspective.
One thing that would be great is if you all want to help increase our subscribers for the quarterly newsletter.
Yeah.
We already had a lot of people sign up ahead of time, which is really nice. I'll get the final numbers for you all, but throughout the year, if we can just keep adding that number, that would be great.
Yeah.
How do you get people to sign up?
So they sign up through our Sustainability Inglewood Engage page. If they put their email in there, they're added onto the list. And it's for specific topics, so if they sign up for the sustainability one, they won't be bombarded with other stuff. It'll only be sustainability.
And I think we're sending them there through the QR code, is that right? To that page, so theoretically,
Yeah.
that could be a good
Yep.
transition.
Hopefully we see a bump up in January. Yeah, that could be a general goal, is enhance subscriber numbers or viewership, whatever terminology you want to use for our sustainability communications. It'd be great to have a starting point, Mel, if you could, just pull those numbers of, 1-1, what are our numbers, and then we can evaluate this time next year.
Anything else? It's a pretty
Yeah,
robust
just
list.
one super quick last thing for me on the communications front. I don't know if this has been explored in the past, but I wonder if we could help spearhead PDF versions of the Inglewood magazine that go out, where folks could essentially opt out of receiving the paper one and sign up to get it electronically. I love that magazine, but I also, every time I get it, I think about how many trees went into that.
So that has been a topic that someone brought up in the communications team before. I don't know where that conversation went, so I can follow up with them to see what the results were for that.
That'd be great.
Awesome.
I have to step out.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, I will.
We're almost wrapping up, but
Okay.
we're here for the important part. Thank you. I appreciate your.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
Lynn. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Where are we on the agenda?
That is the last thing, besides you all pitching what you want to see for the January meeting, which one thing would be that high level discussion about if you all wanted to send anything to city council before their retreat. That was the only thing I had in mind for January. As of now, I can always create fun stuff.
Do we need a January meeting? I mean, I'm not against having a meeting, but if we don't have items that need discussions and approval, we can give ourselves a month off.
Do you know when that energy water audit results are coming out? Because I'd love to look through that as a.
Yeah, that is gonna be like Q2 of 2024, because it's already underway, which it's a heavy lift, but it's almost at the halfway point.
Who's doing it, do you know?
You're out energy?
Okay, yeah.
They're actually right down to Littleton. They're really close and they're awesome.
Any other ideas or topics that you'd like to?
The only reason it might be good to keep is I think we'll have a new council liaison in January, and if it's the first time, if it's our one shot to talk to our council member before their retreat, that might be the only reason would be to sort of fill in our new member on what we're up to and things we might like to see, but also not opposed if we cancel.
That's a good one. Joe, do we know who that person will be?
Yeah, it's Nathaniel.
Who it's me?
Mayor Sierra.
Oh, okay. That's a good point. That might fill up a good part of the meeting.
And I will say there's always sustainability stuff going on.
Yeah.
So that was just my initial like top suggestion. But yeah, there's a plethora of things that can always be discussed for a meeting, so.
Okay. Well, let's, we may have enough already for a meeting, but I would say, please get ideas to Mel and me if you can. Certainly an opportunity to get something on an agenda. If there's a room on the agenda, it's an opportunity to bring something up that you've been thinking about, so.
Well, the format application will be out by that time, so we could discuss, what we just talked about tonight, commission adopting a piece of property and sending in an application,
You said table public house application will be out by then?
but for the format.
Is that something that, I wonder if that would be something good for me to pitch to the parks to see if they'd be interested for that public property and then take over. I don't want to say they would, I'm not the parks department, but I think maybe.
Wouldn't
it
hurt.
could be- Yeah, wouldn't hurt to ask them.
So I think we've got an agenda, or the makings of an agenda.
I do see Christine's hand is up too.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Christine.
Thanks. I think for one of our upcoming meetings, it might be interesting to hear more about what Matthew mentioned on turning the city ditch into a more public walkable or bikeable trail. And I wonder if we might have someone from, I don't know if it's the water department or I don't know if it's community planning, who could tell us, what the steps would look like to get that done.
Excellent. Agenda's filling up.
So is this the last time we're gonna see you, Joe?
Yes, it is.
You guys can always see him at city council
Unless
meetings
I
on a
just
Monday
come for
night.
Wonderful. Good thoughts. Is that enough? I think we have enough to get a meaty agenda together and a productive meeting. So if everybody's comfortable, I say let's adjourn this meeting. And
If I could just say a couple words.
oh, I'm sorry.
Before I go for it.
I almost got us out of here, Joe.
I know.
Take it away.
No, it's been a lot of fun to serve with you guys on this commission for these last, well, since I joined council in 2019, back when it was KEB. It's really changed a lot. Like just thinking back over these last 4 years to go from, I think Mike, you were the only one on the commission when I started.
The KEB group.
Maybe Logan was.
How has it changed?
Well, I mean, really KEB had such a narrow focus that it was just, the commission just didn't do much other than, like litter, and we did the leaf recycling and some of the things that the commission still does, but no broader vision, no eye towards changing things. So, and it was very difficult to get people to apply for the commission because nobody really knew what KD was or what it did. So it was a small commission and we didn't always meet quorum. So it was just, it's really transformed and it's really cool seeing so much excitement around everything. So I've had a lot of fun being a part of it these last few years and seeing that transformation. And I wish you all the best going forward. And
well, my apologies for ignoring you. You've been a big help, Joe, and once we pulled you out of your shell, your candor and feet was really helpful. It really helped us understand council. What are your expectations? And I thought that was very healthy. That was great. So thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of set us off on a course and empowered us a little bit. So we needed that. So you'll move on to a new group to work with next year?
Yeah, I'll be on the transportation advisory committee now, so I'm really excited about that. So I really,
so fitting.
yeah, all the, I'm excited about this, Matthew throwing out the city ditch idea and something that's been on my radar for a long time and has something I've wanted to see move forward. So hopefully you guys will get some traction, but I'll definitely bring that up to the transportation advisory committee as well. I'd love to see the city ditch turn into some kind of a walkable, usable amenity for the city.
Will you keep us in mind for other things, like if they're doing other projects that like, oh, this could like
yeah.
be sustainable a little more?
Well, there's a lot of I mean, it might be cool to do a, combined meeting with, because I think there's a lot of overlap between
Yeah.
transportation and sustainability, so that I'll keep that on the radar.
Great.
Sustainability
Thanks
is
again.
overlapped with like everything.
Yeah.
It's been a good year. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year. See you next year. Huh?
We are doing the.
We're done with the meeting?
Me too. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Councilwoman.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Sorry I ignored you. I keep forgetting people are up on the screen.
Bye all. And Tiana, you're likely gonna be our full member in February, exciting.